Chief guest for the day, Mr. Hettiarachchi, Secretary to the Minister of Tourism. Mrs. Kimali Fernando, Head of Tourism in Sri Lanka. Mr. Payal Pereira, the President of this association. The distinguished guest in this head table, past presidents, official bearers of this association, members, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. It is indeed my pleasure to address this annual general meeting, of course, to be specific, the 49th one of Ceylon Hotel School Graduates Association this evening. Of course, I was given a long time. I was informed by my staff officers, but looking at the gathering, I'm a little reluctant, but I'm on a script specially because of this is area that I'm not very familiar with. Told to talk about something about the prospects of tourism industry in the face of COVID-19. This is what I was told. So I will try to curtail to that. I thought of constructing my speech in 3 layers with the COVID-19 bold and highlighted at the backdrop. Firstly, I would like to speak about what is favorable for tourism. Secondly, I will move on to talk about what makes Sri Lanka special in today's context. And finally, I was talking about future opportunities of tourism field in Sri Lanka. What is favorable to tourism? Of course, many facts and conditions are affecting the attraction of tourists, which you are well aware, as you know your industry and you know much better than me. As the Chief of Defence Staff and the Commander of the Sri Lanka Army, I would like to bring the word security to the table. The security has always been the indispensable condition for travel and tourism. It is the common wisdom that security become much more significant concern in the last 2 decades in tourism since the changes in the world, especially in Sri Lanka, from the last decades were multifaceted and challenging. First, we had been involved in a prolonged war for almost 3 decades, and one industry got actually hammered is your industry. Secondly, we got, once again, tourism got affected with 2004 tsunami coming into Sri Lanka, and most of our hotels along the coastal belt got affected, and of course, for that matter, others hotels as well. Then, thirdly, it was affected with the last year April terrorist attack in Sri Lanka. So these things all have got affected, and as the Chief of Defence Staff and the Commander of the Army, I have been vested with obligations on ensuring security of this country. I am one person, I am not the only person, but of course I am being the 3 forces commander. I have been also vested as far as the security is concerned. Therefore, when I took office, my first endeavor was to ensure the security conducive to the well-being of these people, economy and prosperity of this great country, Sri Lanka. At a time, we successfully managed to secure a physical security in this endeavor. As you all know, the COVID-19 pandemic havocked the world, holding to the world standstill. Consequently, I was again entrusted with restoring and reassuring the security of motherland. The uncertainty and the necessity of the security of health will be the key, the driver to tourism in the age of COVID-19. Still, it is too early to predict how the world would behave given the varied recovery trajectories for countries across the world. Also, we should understand even we have successfully controlled COVID-19 in Sri Lanka, the menace will not be over until the virus is defeated over the entire world, especially in regard to your fields. Therefore, there's a need to tailor-make the strategies to this specific COVID context to attract tourism to our country, which just now we heard from Kimali about that, the strategy that she had planned. I know that she's always worrying us in our task force. Only thing is tourism in Sri Lanka. I saw 2 days back when one gentleman talked about 5% of the economy from that, and she was not at all happy about it. So we have seen, every day we met at COVID meetings. At the end of May, the World Travel and Tourism Council, WTTC, launched a safe travel stamp intending to allow travelers around the world to recognize establishments in the destinations that have adopted standard health, as she mentioned, hygienic practices and procedures. This also has been attested by the United Nations World Tourism Organization. The stamp shall be used throughout the tourism value chain to validate airlines, airports, ships, ports, hotels, restaurants, tour guiding firms, outdoor activities, leisure sports, transportation, and etc. This will be the touchstone to measure how safe the travelers are in the COVID-19 scenario. Thus, I would suggest each of these sectors need to be synergistically tailor-made to achieve the safe travel stamp to have Sri Lanka's own the assured tourism value chain. Also, all these countries who have benefited by tourism are in process of preparing new strategies, the way that I know, to restore and to remain in the business. Therefore, we must keep in mind that we have competitors around the world. Thus, we must be the earlier respondent to reap a marked advantage over the competitors in the region, taking the advantage of COVID-19 situation presently in Sri Lanka. So, what we need in time to come is the correct communication and promoting the conditions of Sri Lanka to the world. I wonder whether we are doing that as of today. Through all communication means, the tourists need to be assured that we have strict safety and hygienic standards in place. This is what is required. Tourists will pay more attention to the safety standards of the hotels before a reservation. Therefore, the availability of such information in publicizing platforms will be very crucial. It is a must that we have given this message to the world by the time the travel restrictions for tourists begin to ease off. I think it's better that we start off now itself. As we mentioned, we are not still sure as to when we are going to open. Also, you must understand, not many countries are still ready to announce these safety assurances. I believe the audience in front of me had the most significant share in this aspect. To start building the trust of the international community who are ready to travel, Sri Lanka can start with domestic tourism and tourism with our stipulated health conditions for a safe travel and stay from selected countries, since the country is now favorable for such an approach. If the government is in an agreement, as she just mentioned, that he had already put to the cabinet, and we believe that we will get a favorable response in regard to that. Also, this will place the stakeholders of the tourism industry in the country at a more favorable financial condition. I believe promoting this type of tourism with publicity worldwide would definitely help to win the trust from global tourism community. Thus, I will wind up the first part of my speech with the two key takeaways. First, the stakeholders throughout the chain should be ready with the necessary safety conditions. Second, we must convey a strong message to the international tourist community that Sri Lanka is a safer choice. Now let me move on to my second part. First, we are the only country in the region who has suppressed the COVID-19 successfully. We could say, although we have been graded differently, maybe due to marketing issues, but the fact remains that which country had done better? That is a question. We found the last COVID patient from the society on 30th of April. After 30th of April, we have not found a single COVID patient from the society. What are these numbers? These are the numbers that we are bringing our own Sri Lankans. Initially, we were told that we have to bring about 20,000. We brought. Now we were told that we have to bring another 52,000. Already, as of today, we have brought over 34,000. So still now says another 50,000. But still will not give up. Nothing impossible, as always I say. We will make sure that they are our people and they will have to come back, and we will make sure that the country is safe, provided that the people of this nation who sacrificed for 3 months immensely follow the rules and the conditions, guidelines given by the health authorities. It was revived as a second wave. You remember a Kandakadu incident. I categorically informed at that time that we will take control of that. And although it was viewed as the second wave, and some expected a much devastating situation, as it happened in Europe and Southern America. However, we were able to completely contain the first wave within 50 days and the so-called second wave within 10 days. This is an indication of how much robust our system is and how reliable our mechanism is. When other countries are still struggling to recover from the COVID-19 itself, Sri Lanka has advanced to look for economic recovery as well. Second, at a time when most of the countries were frustrated and reluctant to do so, His Excellency the President, you remember, brought 34 students from Wuhan, where no country was willing to take such a challenge. So we should be happy. With that, we commenced the quarantine in Sri Lanka, and we went up to 75 quarantine centers run by Thrive Services and supported with the health sector and other authorities. It was not easy. At any given time, we had more than 8,000. Even as at today, we have 6,750, around that much, getting quarantine in Sri Lanka under Thrive Services. We did that. We did that for people of our country. Also, we have set an example to the world effectively utilizing the available resources to face a novel challenge and innovativity, developing new strategies and plans to suit the circumstances. We had issues with most of the equipment. We had issues with the testing. People were talking about the testing, but we didn't stop. We managed to go ahead, and within 50 days, we managed to bring the situation under control. This gives a strong message to the world about the care we have on our citizens, preparedness we have, and how coordinated we are in handling the people arriving from abroad. This is an essential aspect to be promoted in order to win the trust and build the confidence of the tourist community, I believe. The capacity of the country to handle tourists, as you are aware, despite we are a middle economic country, our health system is comprehensive. Not only we have managed to contain the COVID-19 virus quickly, also we have kept all things under control and to bare minimum numbers of patients. We have been able to handle the people arriving from abroad professionally without leaving any room to transmit COVID-19 virus from A to B. We had only 1 or 2 cases at the airport. We had 1 or 2 cases at quarantine center. But the most important thing is, inside the quarantine center, we had not given a patient to another patient the virus. I remember very few first days, people said that bringing 400, all these 400 will be COVID patients. Bringing 1,000, all these 1,000 will be COVID patients. But we didn't have. We had only 310 initially, except for the people coming from abroad. The capacity of the country to handle tourists, as you are aware, we had a lot of difficulties with most of the infrastructure. We had to build. We had only 1 hospital, IDH, to handle the COVID patients. But immediately, thanks to Thrive Services support given to health sector, we managed to build hospitals for COVID patients. As of today, we have enough number of hotels willing to accept the people coming from abroad. Initially, we had only 2-3 hotels, didn't want to accept. Even when I called, they were not looking at me, not even accepting my calls. But today, you find that it's massive traffic on my telephone in regard to hotels. Everybody want to get the hotels to do quarantine. And I'm sure I was just talking to Kimali when I was walking to this place. Although people say, yeah, it's very, we are bare minimum, things are like that. You know what is the price we are giving when you really see. whether all these hotels have been 100%, 364 days, back to back, whether they have got this type of business, I wonder. So you all will know better than me. There were many tourists sieged in Sri Lanka at the time of lockdown. She was very worried. She was talking to us about this at the time with the lockdown, about the numbers, how many numbers are in Colombo and various parts of Sri Lanka. We have successfully managed to provide them with safety, medicine, sometimes even, for that matter, free accommodation. I hope you remember something that happened in Alla, where how Sri Lankans have looked after certain tourists who did not have anything in the pocket. So I would like to compare this situation with India, Bangladesh, Malaysia, and for that matter, some told us to follow Singapore. So you know what is the situation as of today. While there were many affected and fatal cases in these countries, Sri Lanka stands as a safer destination. I recall my memory about this Alla incident. That is one incident, but we had many incidents. But due to time strain, I think I should curtail my speech in regard to not to speak about that. The foreigners who went back to their homelands have carried a vital message to the world on our care, hospitality, assurance of safe stay, and to return. We have seen in most of the media how they have spoken about Sri Lanka. The availability of human resource, as you all know, around the world, the human resource in the tourist industry has gone down substantially due to the health, safety, and revenue issues. Also, it will take quite a long period for them to return to this industry. In contrast, as at today, I don't know, the way that I know, you all will know the best, more than 400,000 people are affected by COVID-19 from this industry. Before embarking into talking about the opportunities, we have to understand that the tourist industry heavily depends on the conditions of the destination, status of the homeland of tourists, conditions of the transportation and transit, as well as services rendered by the host country. We can set all conditions ready to accept tourists from the world. However, we cannot expect a usual tourist flow in the recent future. Therefore, it is worth to understand who our customers would be in this COVID-19 scenario. I am sure that you all have made the strategies. The tourists would tend to seek the higher value for what they spend based on safety, health, hygiene, security, brands, and privacy. Therefore, we will not be able to expect larger groups, backpack travelers, hotel occupants, or short-term travelers with available travel restrictions and quarantine laws in our country. Instead, it would be small groups, long-term travelers, and especially who can afford high-end facilities such as private transport, isolated accommodation, etc. Also, especially, we have to understand the tourists in this scenario are the people who really want to go out of their countries despite the health conditions. Therefore, the key to success is the customizing of facilities provided according to the individual needs. With this knowledge, let me move on to the final part of my speech. With the revived global travel and tourism demand patterns amidst the COVID-19, one important segment that has completely stalemated for mostly on the elderly tourism. As you know, the elderly tourists, especially from Europe and America, Canada, etc., had used to spend their leisure short-term, and especially they were in Europe or within the continent. It is frequent that the elderly population in these countries get the bonus and offers from their savings, investment, and also insurances. Then also we have to think about, however, the present situation in Europe and the Americas is a complete barrier for elderly tourism. This is an untackled, unique opportunity for Sri Lanka, provided that we give the necessary assurance to their specific demands and priorities. Also, this assurance may be extended to the direct flight, inland transportation, etc. Addition to temporarily visiting elderly tourists, there may be opportunities to attract elderly tourists who wish to spend in retirement homes in Sri Lanka. Since the avenues in Europe, this has been basically restricted as of today. However, we may have to think of mutual arrangements between countries in support of this market. The COVID-19 taught the world of the importance of being with nature and its benefits. Thus, a global trend is growing on ecotourism. Since the avenues for the eco type of tourism are still closed in most of the countries, Sri Lanka may reap benefits from this modern trend. As we all know, we have a very conducive environment. Exploring the tourist needs with innovative adding this field would boost up the demand for Sri Lanka within the tourist community. In addition, the ecotourism, we may expect many tourists exploring counseling, mind relaxing, yoga, and all these things what we have. We are going for Be Sri Lanka, Buy Sri Lanka type of attitude now in the country. I'm sure that we can explore these things. There is a substantial demand within the tourist community on herbal medicine and meditation, especially affiliated to Buddhism. Even though facilities in these areas are already in place in Sri Lanka, we have much more to explore. I am sure this area too we will be able to explore. Therefore, if we exploit this field correctly and fill the demand with our own facilities and ingenious medicine, we would be able to create a subculture within the tourist. In the line with the same private homes, apartments will be increasing demand. There may be direct transported to the hotels, these people, and the systems can be created for us. We will be able to go ahead. Different culture that she was mentioning, how barrier that she had in her organization. I am sure they are now groomed with her leadership and all of your support. I am sure that it will come in time to come very soon. As a final note, it should be mentioned that it is not certain when the travel restrictions completely lifted and the freedom of tourism is granted in Sri Lanka and guaranteed in Sri Lanka. Also, it is inevitable that even the COVID-19 is not completely eradicated from the world. Surely, it will have a gradual start even for tourism, even in Sri Lanka. However, waiting for such endeavors will stalemate us with the other countries. Since we have successfully controlled COVID-19, I opine that we should leap forward to renounce from the economic drawback. Therefore, it is very much important that this industry continue and run, maybe with improved posture, in order to earn foreign revenues, develop the facilities generated, employment opportunities, and promote Sri Lanka brand. Last but not the least, let me thank the president of Ceylon Hotel Schools Graduation Association, Mr. Pial Pereira, and your team for inviting me to do this speech. And I humbly wish you all will have a great 1 year, heading for the 50th year, you mentioned. And I wish you all the very best and have a pleasant evening. Thank you.